Hello, welcome to Analog Circuit Design online lecture series. Myself Reema Rawat from LG Institute of Engineering and Technology in the Department of Electronics and Communication. In this session, we are going to see the unit oscillators, and in this unit, we are going to see the topic concept of oscillators and classification of oscillators in this session. So let's start it. First of all, let us see the concept of oscillators. So, what are oscillators? You must have heard about the word oscillator. Generally, it is used for generating the different frequencies. So, oscillators are basically AC signal generators which we use in our laboratories. They are generating different frequency ranges, and they are variations having in their types and according to the components used. So let us see the diagram of oscillator. Over here it is indicated that the oscillator has two inputs, output voltage control and output frequency control. That means we can control the output voltage of oscillators and output frequency of which the oscillator is working. That means frequency of oscillations at the output side. Now, oscillators operates on which principle? So this is very important thing to understand. The oscillator operates on the principle of positive feedback. Remember this, in the previous session we have seen the concept of feedback. We have seen there are basically two types of feedback, positive feedback and negative feedback. So in any closed loop system, if we use positive feedback, what is the effect of it? If we use negative feedback, what is the effect of it? That we have seen in terms of op-amp in the previous sessions. So oscillators operates on the principle of positive feedback. Okay? Now let us see what is the concept of positive feedback. So here in this diagram, there are two blocks. First block is the amplifier block and the second block is the feedback circuit block. So, to the amplifier block, the input signal is given. The input signal is having the voltage value Vs, that is the source voltage. It is given to the mixer. Now, see, at the mixer side there are two inputs. First one is the input signal Vs and the second one is the feedback signal, which is having the feedback voltage value Vf. These two signals are given to the mixer block and the output of the mixer block is given to the amplifier block. Now, here the gain of the amplifier is given as A, and from which the output is obtained. Now, some part of output is given back to the feedback circuit, that is the concept of feedback. Now, here you can see at the mixer side, two positive plus symbol is indicated. This indicates that this amplifier is having the positive feedback. Now, if you look at the input signal Vs and feedback signal Vf, both are in phase with each other. That means they have the positive feedback concept. So, Vs and Vf are in phase with each other. So, the phase shift which is introduced by the feedback circuit or the feedback network here is 0 degree. Okay? Now, if you want to find the feedback voltage, so the formula for it is given as Vf, that is equals to beta Vo, where beta is the feedback circuit gain beta and Vo, that is the output voltage. Okay? Beta is called as feedback factor also. So if you want to find feedback factor, that formula will be Vf by Vo, that means feedback voltage divided by output voltage. Okay? So this was all for the concept of positive feedback on which the oscillator operates. Now, let us see the expression for the gain with positive feedback for this oscillator case. So if you want to find AF, that is gain of the oscillator or gain of the op-amp with feedback, it is given as A upon 1 minus A into beta, where A is the open loop gain of the amplifier, or as you can say gain of the particular amplifier block, and beta is the feedback factor. So this is important for example point of view as well. So I repeat again, the formula of feedback gain, that is positive feedback gain for the oscillator, is given as A divided by 1 minus A into beta. Because we are using the positive feedback, that's why minus sign is there in the denominator. Okay. Now let us see next topic, that is Barkhausen criteria. The Barkhausen criteria is the most important criteria for oscillators. It is very important to understand what Barkhausen criteria says, because on this criteria oscillator depends. So let us see the statement part of the Barkhausen criteria. There are basically two parts of the statement. Let us look at the first statement first. So here, this first statement says that an oscillator will operate at that frequency for which the total phase shift introduced as measured from the input terminals through the amplifier and feedback network and back again to the input is precisely equal to 0 degree or 360 degree or integer multiple of 360 degree. That means this point simply says that the feedback network should not introduce the phase shift which is 180 degree or the reverse to that of the input. That means this is the positive feedback, that's why the output and input should be in phase with each other. Okay. So in simple words, the first statement of the Barkhausen criteria says that the phase shift between the input and the feedback should be 0 degree or 360 degree or integer multiple of 360 degree. That means input, output or feedback should be in phase with each other. Okay. Now let us see the second part. So the second statement part of the Barkhausen criteria says that at the oscillator frequency, the magnitude of the product of open loop gain of the amplifier A and the feedback factor beta is equal to or greater than unity. That means this says that the product, if we take the product of amplifier gain A and the feedback factor beta, that should be greater than or equals to 1. So this is the second important criteria, Barkhausen criteria for oscillators. Remember that, let's say for example, the amplifier gain is 29. So to make the A beta product 1 or greater than 1, we need to take beta 1 by 29 to make it 1. So that's why it says that we should select the values of amplifier gain and beta such that the magnitude becomes greater than or equals to 1. Clear? So this was Barkhausen criteria. There are two statements in this. First statement is that the positive feedback should be there. That means the phase shift should be 0 degree, 360 degree or integer multiple of 360 degree. And second point states that the A beta product should be greater than or equals to 1, where A is the amplifier gain and beta is the feedback factor. Okay. Now let us see the classification of oscillators. So there are various oscillators available according to the components used or according to the output waveform it produces. So based on these different parameters, let us see the classification of oscillators now. We have seen the oscillators concept, what is oscillators. Then we have seen what concept is there behind oscillators, that means concept of positive feedback. Now we are moving to the classification of oscillators. So first let us see the classification based on the shape of output waveform. So, based on the output waveforms, there are two types of oscillators. First one is sinusoidal oscillators and the second one is non-sinusoidal oscillators. So, what are sinusoidal oscillators? Why they are called as sinusoidal oscillators? Because they produces output waveform which are sine wave or cosine waves. That's why they are called as sinusoidal waves. And what are non-sinusoidal oscillators? So as the name suggests, the non-sinusoidal oscillators are those oscillators at the output of which it can be ramp signal, step signal, triangular wave or sawtooth wave, rectangular wave, but they are other than sine and cosine signals. So that are called as non-sinusoidal oscillators based on which shape we are getting at the output side. Okay. So let us see which are sinusoidal oscillators. So the first one is RC phase shift oscillator. This is a type of oscillator, RC phase shift oscillator. As the name suggests, in this oscillator, components used are resistors and capacitors. So based on the arrangement of resistors and capacitors, we are obtaining RC phase shift oscillator. The output of this will be in terms of sine or cosine. Second one is Wien bridge oscillator. Wien bridge oscillator is another variant of oscillator which again generates the output which will be sinusoidal waveform. And the third one in sinusoidal oscillator is Hartley, Colpitts and Clef oscillator. These three are oscillators based on inductor and capacitor arrangement. Okay. Next is non-sinusoidal oscillator. So in this, the first one is multivibrators. You will see different multivibrators in that, then UJT relaxation oscillator. So these are non-sinusoidal oscillators. Now, let us see the next classification. The next classification is based on the types of components used. That means in this, irrespective of what output waveform we are getting, but we are concentrating what components are using, and based on that we are doing the classification. So based on the components used, we can classify the oscillators into two categories. First one is RC oscillators and the second one is LC oscillators. So in RC oscillators, as the name suggests, components used will be combination of resistors and capacitors. Okay. And same way in LC oscillators, components used will be inductors and capacitors. So in RC oscillator, we have phase shift oscillator, Wien bridge oscillator and UJT relaxation oscillator. And on the other side, in LC oscillators, we have Hartley oscillators, Colpitts oscillator and Clef oscillators. These are the LC oscillators. This all we will see in detail in further sessions. Now, let us move to the next classification. So next is classification based on the range of operating frequency. So in this type of classification, we will classify the oscillator based on the output frequency they are producing. And according to that range of operating frequencies, we can classify into two categories. First one is low frequency oscillators and the second one is high frequency oscillators. So, as the name suggests, in low frequency oscillators, the output frequency produced will be in lower range, and for high frequency range, we need to use high frequency oscillators. Okay. Now, let us see the complete classification of oscillators. So, if we look at the complete classification of oscillators, that can be divided into two types, sinusoidal oscillators and non-sinusoidal oscillators. In sinusoidal oscillators, we can further classify into two categories. First one is high frequency oscillator and the second one is low frequency oscillators. So, high frequency oscillators are those oscillators which have the output frequency range greater than 20 kHz. And low frequency oscillators are those oscillators which have the frequency ranges less than or equal to 20 kHz. So if we look at high frequency sinusoidal oscillators, that will be Hartley oscillators, Colpit, Clap or crystal oscillators. They are used for high frequency generation. And if you want low frequency sinusoidal oscillators, there will be RC phase shift oscillators, Wein-Bridge oscillators, twin T network oscillators. So these oscillators are used for generating the low frequency at the output. Now, in non-sinusoidal oscillators, we can have UJT oscillators, we can have multivibrators. In multivibrators, we can have astable, bistable, monostable multivibrators based on their stable states of operation. And in non-sinusoidal oscillators, we can have time-based generators that may be voltage sawtooth, current sawtooth generators. Okay? So this was the complete classification of oscillators. I hope that the oscillator concept, its feedback gain formula, types of oscillators and what are basically oscillators, that is clear to you now. These are the references you can refer through. Thank you. Thank you for listening.